Welcome to the Virtual Vision Board program. I am your host, Rose, and I work at the Travelers Rest Library. And my lovely co-host, Rachel, she is our technology goddess tonight, and she is going to be monitoring the chat. If you are watching this video from the future, welcome. So glad that you are here. Please don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the Greenville Library YouTube channel. So we have a lot more events coming up. So if you are interested in more events, you'll go to greenvillelibrary.org/events. And there you'll find our other programs, like our annual Southern Author Expo, a short story cafe, and there's also a National Park Guide program that looks really cool. So I might check that out myself. So right before we get started, I would like to talk about winter reading. What is winter reading, you ask? Well, it's a challenge that the library has, a reading challenge and an interactive challenge. So all you have to do is register online on our website. You should see a big winter reading button, and then you can click on, or slide and then click on that and then hit the register button. You could also register at one of the branches. If you want to come by and see us, we can get you registered. And once you get registered, you're going to either download or come by the library and get your activity booklet. And in this activity booklet is going to be your bingo. So the bingo is how you will complete the challenge. You have to get 5 in a row, but we do have a free space there. So these 2 lines, you can probably do just 4 if you want to. So there's other activities in here, little Sudoku and trivia and things like that. So please either download an activity book from the website, or you can come by the library and pick one up from one of us. You can come to Travelers Rest, and I would be so happy to wait on you. So please register for winter reading. Don't forget, because we are going to have tons of prizes. In fact, just for completing the winter reading program, you are going to get this tote bag. This beautiful tote bag. It's this beautiful navy blue color. It matches our theme, which is winter night sky. And I like it because it has a nice long strap. See how long that strap is? It's really good. So to get your bag, please don't forget to register for winter reading. And in addition, we have free pastry from the Swamp Rabbit Cafe. So you know it's going to be good if it's coming from the Swamp Rabbit Cafe. So once you get these prizes, you'll also be entered into a drawing with a grand prize that is either tickets to Starry Nights at Roper Mountain and a hockey game with the Swamp Rabbits, or a play kit for anyone with children. I'm going to share the screen really quick. Okay, vision boards. Here we are. So what is a vision board? A vision board is a collage of images and words that help you visualize goals. And so what's the purpose of a vision board? Well, we use visualization to create a future event. And what that means is you imagine something in your mind's eye that you want to happen. This is a technique used by like Olympic athletes, singers. Before they perform, they use visualization to get themselves ready for their performance. It's also inspiration and reminders of what you're working towards. In the hustle and bustle of life, we can forget our goals. So it's good to have that inspiration right there in front of you. It also creates an emotional connection, which means that you're connected to your goal and your vision board, and that's going to motivate you. You're more likely to accomplish a goal if you feel an emotional connection to it. It also makes goals more tangible, and it helps clarify. So what that means is it's going to be easier to accomplish if it's more detailed and laid out. So how do you do that? How do you come up with a goal, and how do you have it clarified? Oh, yes. And of course, it's fun and creative. It's very fun. And I like to make all sorts of vision boards. It's one of my favorite crafts. So let's talk about SMART goals. So you want to be specific. What, where, how, what kind of details is going to, and these questions are going to help you envision and then break down your goals into smaller steps. Measurable. So how do you know it's going to be met? You can measure goals with time. You can measure goals with money, like how much money do you need? Do you need supplies? For example, I would like to travel to Italy. That is my goal. So what measurable amounts can I see my progress to that goal? And it would probably be, how much money do I have? When should I ask off for work? And things like that, and passports and all sorts of things. So that just gets you even more details. Attainable. You definitely want to make sure that's something in your limits, especially if it's physical. You want to make sure you don't overdo yourself or overexert yourself. I myself, have a really hard time with biting off more than I can chew. And then I get overwhelmed, and then I can't do anything because I've got so much going on in my mind. And relevant. Is your goal realistic? Is it something that you can accomplish with smaller goals to get to a big goal? And time-based. Set a date. Go ahead, put your goal on a calendar and measure how many days, how many weeks is it going to take you. Just get it on that calendar, give yourself a deadline, and you'll be more likely to meet that deadline. So what kind of goals? What is a SMART goal? I'm sure that's what you're wondering right now. A SMART goal can be personal growth, such as going to some trainings for your job. It could be reading self-help books. It could be going out and doing, well, not going out with COVID, but finding a hobby, things like that. Relationships. Do you have an estranged family member that maybe you guys should make up, or is there something that you would like to improve with a relationship with your child or your spouse? Career, that's an easy one. Getting a promotion at work is a very good SMART goal. And for your home, do you have any home improvement projects that you've been saying that you're going to do but haven't gotten to? Anything like that to get your home to where you want it to be? What is your goal? And travel. I gave that example earlier. I would like to travel to Italy, and it doesn't have to be traveling to some faraway exotic land. It can be travel, hey, I never go downtown Greenville. I really should go there and visit the farmers market. You know, I live here in Greenville, so why don't I make that a goal? Okay, everyone. So I know we all got a kit, and we are going to go ahead and open that up. So you're going to have supplies. So you will find a poster board, and you can use poster board or paper or cardstock. These are really nice. They were ordered, but you don't have to use a poster board or cardstock. You can even find things around your house. I have ripped off a piece of a cardboard box and used that as my vision board. I have taken the back of a notebook. Once I'm done with the notebook, I rip that off, and then I make a little vision board on that. It could be a big vision board. We get a regular poster board or even a trifold. Why not, right? So that is your main thing. Scissors, of course. I'm so sorry we don't have scissors for you, but I'm sure you've all come prepared. I would not recommend kitchen scissors. I would recommend nice office scissors. And then you can use those fun scissors that have like the little details and things like that on them. Those are fun. Glue and tape. You don't have to use, you don't use glue or tape. You can use rubber cement, Mod Podge. I've seen a lot of people use that because the Mod Podge, it'll kind of get it hard and shiny. And so it's like, you know, more sturdy. Whatever you can find to attach your images to your board. And of course, magazines and books. We've provided 2 magazines for you in your kit. We've included some magazines. I know they may not be the best magazines because sometimes I like to curate what I have. And if we were in person, I would have a plethora of magazines for you. But these, I think, will help you with our craft tonight. And just think about that in the future when you want to make more vision boards. Also, I have seen magazines at the Goodwill, so you can just go and grab a packet of those. You don't always have to use magazines. You can use photographs, like a photograph of yourself, a photograph of a child or a spouse, or it could even be a photograph of someone who may have passed away. So that's an inspirational thing to you. It can be sad, but sometimes that really inspires people because you want to make that family member proud. So there's all sorts of different things you can use for your vision board, and anything creative, which by that I mean glitter, ribbons, bows, stickers, whatever you have to make it look great and what you want. So here's a few inspiration questions before we get started. What do you want your future to look like? The vision board can be the roadmap to your future. What are your favorite colors? Do you have any favorite words that you want in your vision board? Sometimes I have a list of words and then I go through the magazines and I cut out those words. I like scour the magazine for them. I can't always find them. Definitely can't always find them. But if it's a specific goal, I like to map it out with words. And finally, I would like to share some resources with you. The library has a reading list section on the blue tab of our website, and you can click on that and find all sorts of reading lists. And I have curated a self-help reading list for you. Basically, it's all of the self-help books in the library. And these 2 books here, Project You and Dear Universe, I chose these because when you type in vision board into the library's catalog, these are the 2 books that come up. So they may be helpful for future vision boards. And finally, we have lots of books that are on affirmations and accomplishing goals and using your mind to really motivate yourself. So these are just some of my favorites, but you'll find even more in that in this list right here, the self-help reading list on our website. Once again, winter reading, January 15th to March 15th. Register at greenvillelibrary.org/winter-reading. Pick up or download the activity booklet. And all you have to do is complete 5 of those bingo activities. And then you're going to earn your prizes, which, does everybody remember the prize? Yes, that beautiful bag. And so I think that's about everything that I wanted to go over, and I can't wait to start creating with you guys. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, great. Well, if everyone has their kit ready, we can go ahead and get started, and then I'm going to move to another camera so you can kind of see what I'm doing. And you just start flipping through those magazines and see if there's anything that inspires you. Just flip on through them. So have your board and your magazines. Certain magazines are really good for vision boards, like House Beautiful, Southern Living, things like that. Those are really good for vision boards. If you want cars, I guess a Motor Trend would be really good, but People Magazine and Us Weekly and things like that, those aren't the best for vision boards because they just have celebrities in it, unless your goal is to be a celebrity, I guess. No judgment if you do use those, but in my opinion, as far as really aesthetically pleasing images, I would go with one of the homemaking magazines. There's one called Real Simple. I like to use Women's Day is a good one, Red Book, things like that. Yes, I love Real Simple. That's my favorite magazine. And so as you can see, this one is antiques. I think this one, I could definitely find something in here. We can all be inspired by antiques and things like that. And you just never know. I've went ahead and cut a few things out. And I'm gonna tape mine so you can see it. So there's that, and this, I just liked the colors. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use that as a background. And don't be afraid to layer them on top of each other. And don't be afraid to play with white space, because white space could highlight a certain thing for you.
Do you normally go through and collect all of your images and then go try to put them on the board?
Yes.
Or do you just kind of do it?
Yes, that's what I do. Sorry, I guess I'm jumping up a little ahead of you guys. So flipping through the magazine and then cutting out your images and then placing them on the board where before you use glue and stuff. So I guess I was just trying to give you an example. You guys don't have to go ahead and start taping everything or gluing everything. Does anyone want to share their goal? Do we have our goals picked out yet, or are we just gonna wing it? Either way is fine.
One of my goals this year is to go to Machu Picchu in Peru.
Oh, wow, that is an awesome goal. That is.
And I
awesome.
found a small picture of the ruins. So that's something I want to put on my vision board.
There you go. That's perfect. That's absolutely perfect. And then whenever you wake up in the morning and you see that vision board either on the wall, or you can even put it in your phone as a lock screen, set it as the lock screen, you can remind yourself of that. And I'm sure it's very much in the forefront of your mind, though. That sounds like such an amazing trip. So for me, I had a hard time coming up with a goal. So I just went with a lot of images that really just over, like I have several goals. So I just kind of went with stuff that was like overall. So for example, I want to save money, who doesn't, right? And be more present with my family. And I would like to build more friendships. So those are three little goals that sometimes kind of overlap for me. So I just, whenever, like this picture, for example, it's like, who are these people? It made me think of friendship. So that's why I put that there. And then this I found, which was pretty good. Save time, score deals, make money. And please don't be afraid to throw some artistic flair in there. For example, this is just an artwork that I really like. It's Alice in Wonderland. It was in an ad, and I thought that was really cool, and I love the book. So it's just something I love. It's not necessarily tied to a goal, but it's gonna look cool, and it's something that I love. So it'll cheer me up or make me feel good.
Do you ever look at something like this, because it's my first time doing this, look at something like this and go, maybe the universe is speaking to me?
Yes, all the time. So you just have these little coinky dinks, right? That just kind of show up and like, for example, like you said with moving, I see numbers a lot. Like I'll see the number 1111 everywhere, or I'll see library everywhere, all sorts of things that just start showing up. They'll show up, you know, on the computer somehow, somebody will start talking about it, and then you do a vision board and all of a sudden that's everything you need for that specific goal. So yeah, that definitely happens to me a lot. And sometimes I give my vision boards a theme, and I wish I had one with me to show you as an example, but I have a house plant vision board because I bought some plants and they kept dying on me. And then I bought some plants and I was gonna keep them alive. I knew I was gonna keep them alive. And I wanted to go ahead and make a vision board. So I just made a vision board of nothing but house plants and plants. And that was just kind of like the theme of it. And I just kept looking at it. And not only that, I started thinking about the goal of houseplants. So I knew I had to do my research. I knew I had to make sure, you know, they had the right kind of water and the right kind of sun and things like that. It's not something that you just kind of sit there and hope it lives, you know what I mean? So that's a theme that I've used. And I've had a vision board that was like a yoga theme. I love the Yoga Journal magazine. And so I just made a yoga board, and, you know, that inspires me. It's actually in my office. It inspires me to do at least 20 minutes of yoga a day. That's my goal for that. And so it's pretty inspirational. And then sometimes you can just put things that you like. I just found a picture of some LaCroix, and I love LaCroix. I live off of it. So I'm just gonna put that on my vision board because I like it. It's something I like.
An earlier tip from Melissa was to check both sides of a picture before you cut it out, because you might like the thing on the back more than the front.
That is an awesome tip. Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Sometimes with words, I like to trim the edges and kind of make them look round, kind of like this, like round it out a little bit.
I wasn't super sure of what my goal would be, but I ended up finding a lot of these very silly, very colorful and happy pictures. So I think I'm gonna go with, after the pandemic, the past couple of years, just embracing joy and little moments again.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. And that's something we can all learn from for sure. And just, it's the little things, you know. Thank you for sharing that. So this is what I have so far. It's not very much. Usually I wait until I arrange them and get them right where I want them before I put the tape or glue on, but I wanted to make sure you guys could see me and see what I was doing. And don't be afraid of cutting designs or whatever. It's not, it doesn't have to be perfect. If it's like this part here, it looked like it actually ripped instead of cut, that's going to be okay. You can still use it. And if I wanted to, I could take this and put it under this little flap here and then just cover it up. And I also suggest don't be afraid to let things hang off the page. That can be a little annoying because you don't want, if it's like in a hallway, you don't want things to kind of bump on it, but sometimes just giving it a shape, you know, rather than just a little rectangle, it could be a cool shape. But I've got glue around this rectangle, and then that will keep it from flapping, the edges from flapping too much. You might find doing the big poster board might be better, because if you feel like you might be running out of room, the big poster board is awesome for that. But this is also nice because it's real convenient, and it's not going to take up a lot of space in your wall and on your wall, or you could even like fold it in a book or something like that, just wherever you don't want to keep it. So this is a good size too. Now, I wish I had some really good tips of keeping your cutouts organized and the scraps away from it, and because the cleanup from this isn't too bad, but it does have a lot of paper laying around. So I wish I had better tip. Maybe if someone else has a tip of how to stay organized with your vision board and cutting. But part of the fun is being messy too, right? Sometimes I'll just cut out a background. So this is just an ad that was pretty yellow, and I was thinking maybe I could put it as a background instead of having just the plain white and put things on that. I might even cut it up to put it in the white space. And it's definitely up to you how busy you would want all the images to be. You know, sometimes you might want a nice, neat one, especially if you're trying to clarify your goals. You want something that isn't too distracting. But either way is fine. The most important thing is that you think about that goal and you keep making those specific details. And then think about breaking that goal down into little goals. But doing this project is really fun when you have other people to share with. But sometimes you might want to just have a nice quiet room so you can resonate on your goals and resonate on what you really want. So being by yourself is fine too. That's the thing about vision boards. You can do pretty much whatever you want. As long as you've got images and a poster board and glue, you're good to go. So this isn't finished yet, but this is what I have so far. So I just liked this lady's face. I thought she was really cool. And then there's like a molecule or something like around her. It's like very sci-fi. And then I put this little beach house there because I think it'd be really cool to have a beach house. And these folks I just put here because they made me think of friendship, and friendship is one of my goals. And it was too good to be true. That's what this says. It says it was too good to be true. And I felt like that was like a good warning. So I thought to just put that there. It doesn't really have anything to do with my goals, but it's a nice warning because, you know, not all that glitters is gold. So I just thought it was a good message. And then discover, I want to discover a lot of things this year. And here I just have some plants. Just really liked the plants. And then of course I put my little Alice in Wonderland here. And then I like LaCroix, so I wanted to put some there. And buried treasure, I thought that was cool. I was like, maybe I'll come across some buried treasure somehow and I won't even know it. And this word says healthy. So that's always good to have. Our health is a good goal, always. So yeah. Oh, and let me show you kind of where that yellow is. I just put the color there. And then same thing with this guy. I just really liked the background color. So I just put stuff on top of it. And oh, and this word right here, it says librarians. I've never tried it, but sometimes people do vision boards like in a sketch journal or like in a writing journal. They just have different pages and you can flip through it. I've never done that, but that would be pretty cool. I'll have to try it sometime. Maybe that'll be our next class. Thank you so much for spending time with us and sharing your intentions with me. Thank you all so much.